The Halo games was what got me started with creative modes, and in this video I'm going to show you step by step how to build a Warthog from Halo. The design was made by CreativeGnome, link to his Twitter is in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I definitely enjoyed making it. Smash like and we'll build a full Halo map. On the screen you can see a list of all the galleries that I used. I'll also write them in the description. What you want to start with is one of the wheels from the outdoor residential gallery. Resize it +1 in all and +12 in height, and then flip it around. You're gonna set grid snap to 16 and have 6 grids in between each wheel. Next, grab the TV from the oil rig gallery. You're gonna resize the height -7 with +3 in width and +36 in depth. This will connect both wheels. Make sure you set grid snap to 32 here, so that it will be possible to place it on the actual middle. Next step from the Craggy Cliffs gallery. Grab this green box. Most of the car is going to be made with this box. We're gonna resize it to -7 in depth, -5 in width, and -4 in height. Then you want to flip it around and make a little circle with it. For placing it on the wheels like this, you actually have to turn grid snap off, because you need to put it on the 64th position, which Fortnite doesn't have. Also make sure you're either walking or have flight speed 0.5 on, because this is such a delicate build that you don't want to move too fast, because then it's impossible to place things in its right spot. With grid snap 16, these wheels will have 11 points in between them. Now begins the fun part, which is the body of the Warthog. I'm going to mainly be using 2 variations of the box for this. Both of them you'll set height to -3. One of them you'll have depth -6, and the other one depth -7. The width doesn't really matter, and can be changed to whatever you feel like. The smaller one you'll have here. Notice how the bottom of it is at the same height as the middle of the wheel. The bigger box I'm going to place on the back here, flip it like the other, and the tip of it will be 5 blocks from the middle of the wheel. This is with grid snap 32, and it will also be 1 block above the wheel. If you have done everything exactly like I've done in this video here, this is the point where it stops being as important to do everything exactly the way that I did it, because now we've mapped out the skeleton for the car, and everything else is going to be in reference to these things. So even if you make a little mistake, or make something a little too big, it's not gonna ruin your whole build, because every new piece that you add will still be in reference to the skeleton, and not the things that you will add after this point. But do make sure that you're building symmetrical though, which is a little bit difficult actually, but I'll get to that. Another challenge here is that despite that these blocks look really good for a car, they're the perfect color and their texture feels right, they still stick out in kind of a weird way. That's something that you won't be able to fix perfectly, but I will eventually have some solutions for this. Here we'll make a little bit of a stair that you can just step on. The real-life Warthog doesn't really have a step like this, but that little step here is a nice little substitute for that indentation. We're grabbing the TV again from the rig gallery, and that will be the floor in the middle here. The box in the middle will separate the driver's seat from the passenger seat. It is at the same height as the top of the steps. Also on the front and the back, we're using a TV. The back one will be a little bit more sloped, so it can make sense to have a seat there. That seat I'll later make with the Snowman gallery. It will be very glorious. Speaking of glorious, thank you guys so much for using the code SvenP1205. I really appreciate it. You're helping making this content by doing that, so thank you. Now we're gonna make the roof of the car. I'm starting off just placing this up in the air here. We will later actually spin it around a little bit. It's just easier to make it this way. and then copy pasting. For this, I recommend doing grid snap off on some of those parts to make sure you get it right. Then place it so that the pillars, for lack of a better word, are pointing towards the wheels. Then for the back, you just copy paste it and flip it around again. Also, Warthogs has a little railing in between, as well as behind. It kind of looks a little bit like a Tesla once you place these here, but we're not really making a Tesla today. Maybe some other time, who knows? No, just kidding. For the front, I'm gonna use a box again and just tilt it a little bit. Make sure you have grid snap off for this, because to make the angle sharp enough, you have to have it be off. Also, I'm tilting it a little bit left and right for the sides here. Also, I'm just gonna make the first one of these that I place a little bit longer to make it look really smooth. What we wanna do here is give the car a little bit more mass. This will also be a part where we give the car kind of an interesting shape. You can see that I use 45-degree angles and 90-degree angles on the back here, while the front is gonna have a little bit of a faster look to it. And then one block in, I'm going to continue the shapes, which makes the car very interesting looking. On the next part, we're going to make the seats. Grab this little piece here from the Snowman gallery, tilt it, resize it all the way to the biggest possible, and there we can make a glorious, very comfy looking seat. On the top of that seat, you want to just make it a little bit shorter, so that it looks like the thing that you would put your head on. And there we go, a glorious seat for not just the passenger, but also the driver. Making the other side of the car might be a little bit difficult, since you can't just grab a tilted piece and mirror it for the right side. You have to find some other ways of making the car symmetrical. What I recommend is recreating it while using the other side as a reference. For example, we can grab this block here, resize it to the same size as the one that's 45 degrees here, see if they can overlap each other, which right now they can. Then you just gotta make sure you have it on the same position on the other side, and just repeat that process until you're done with both sides. All the boxes put on top of each other looks a little bit weird and a little bit like plasticky, and also all of the lines here and there. I wanted to make the design a little bit better, so I decided that I also wanted to use the TV prop on the edge here. And when looking closely at Warthogs, they actually have this thing. What a great idea. So I'm gonna be building this. I'd like to also thank Utho and Edvard Bolaas. Edvard Bolaas is the artist behind this song here, and the previous songs has been by Utho. The link to all music will be in the description for this channel, like always. And make sure you say hi for me when you go there. It was pretty glorious to have a gigantic cannon, but it's pretty clear to me now that these has to be the smallest possible to look good. Also, I'm using these boxes as a little shield for whoever is gonna stand there. However, whoever is gonna stand here right now is not tall enough to use this, so I'm gonna have to lower it a little bit. And now this thing is too close to the roof, so I'm gonna have to lower the roof as well. But that's fine, because like I was saying earlier, the skeleton for the car is already made, and as long as that is made exactly like I said in the instructions at the beginning, fixing tiny mistakes like the roof being too tall is very, very easy. Now it's time for some extra details. We're grabbing a piece from the Pandora gallery, making it all the way the smallest possible. It has to be placed with grid snap turned off, else it won't snap correctly. I'm also gonna place this on the top of the roof and on the back. From the Yacht gallery, I'm grabbing this little vent, making it as small as possible, and placing it on the front. A wheel I can use as the, what do you call it in English? The wheel? Huh. Ratt is what we call it in Norwegian. It can also be pretty useful to know how to copy paste this thing, because this is a little bit more than 100 props. When copy pasting something with more than 100 props, make sure you have built the prop turned off and add a wall, like you can see that I have a little further away from the car. The line that I'm unselecting right now, everything below that and that, I'm not going to copy paste in the first round. Because this car is more than 100 props, I need to be exactly sure which props I have copy pasted and which ones I'm going to. And notice how when I'm copy pasting it, it goes perfectly on grid because of that block. Then all I gotta do is just copy paste the lower parts of this. So we'll select everything under the line as well as the line itself. Make sure you're not copy pasting anything that you have already copy pasted. When everything is selected, grab the wall again and then place it, and it will land perfectly. This is super useful for copy pasting. It's not only useful, it's completely 100% necessary, because anything else that you do when you have more than 100 props is going to land in the wrong position. Maybe it will be like 1 centimeter off, which is super annoying. The last little details that I'm adding here is from the Cube gallery, the Arctic gallery, the Dusty Depot and Diner gallery, and it's just a couple of like screens and lights, just to give it a little bit more life. And I'm super happy with the results. If you've watched this far without skipping, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, you're awesome. If you did skip to the end, however, to see the final product, you're still awesome. With the Mongoose emote, the character can sort of be sitting. It looks like the character is driving the vehicle, which I really like. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you have some other suggestions for builds, I'd like to know them too. I got a ton of epic projects lining up, and I can't wait to show you guys them. Make sure you're subscribed with the bell notifications on, and check out some of these videos on the screen right now. Anyways, have a great day, I'll see you some other time.